Boy, this isn't really exactly what it used to be. Now that they do deals all the time and people aren't, like, interested in going out at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is probably good. You don't hear about as many tramplings now. So.
Yeah, thank goodness. Tickle Me Elmo isn't killing people anymore.
Because I found out that garlic is amazing. Of course, garlic's the best thing in the game. I might just buy it. Like I don't even care. I'll see if it goes on sale, fine. But I might just buy it. It's probably what I'd play on stream. Alex, do you feel like a turkey?
No, because I have a ham for this Thanksgiving.
You have a ham for this Thanksgiving. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I like ham.
I also like ham.
Yeah, I have a turkey. So there's that.
Gobble, gobble.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that butterflying thing like I usually do. Really good. Spatchcock it. Spatchcock and lock. Anyway, hi everybody. Thank you for joining us on Total Pebble Knockdown. I am Nathan.
And I am Alex, and we could also rename the show this week to Thanksgiving Poultry Knockout.
There you go. Yeah, it's just too bad that there isn't anything Thanksgiving-y that I could put a K to. I can't think of anything.
Knives?
Corn? No, that's the band, sorry. We are actually staring down not only Thanksgiving, but we are staring down Black Friday, which, as a consumerist nation, is kind of the more important thing. So, Alex, are you all jazzed up to get some shopping done for Black Friday?
Yes?
You seem very enthusiastic. Excellent. Love to see that. Well, since it is Black Friday, and we talk about gaming on this channel, I did a little bit of snooping around to see if there was anything Black Friday related that was going to be going on for deals. And yes.
Dragonflight from World of Warcraft drops on the 28th, if that counts.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's a deal. They're not really. It's not on sale for Black Friday, but it's dropping on the 28th, so.
Oh, okay. But I'm not going to be able to get it for like 80% off.
No.
That's too bad.
Yeah, no.
I only buy stuff when it's like free. I was looking around and, there's a lot of, I'll talk a little bit about some actual like sales, but there were a couple things that just kind of delighted me. The first one, when I went online, was they had a thing on Finder.com about Black Friday deals for the PlayStation 5. And so, initially, when you see the headline, it's Black Friday early PlayStation 5 sales up to 72% off. And you're like, oh, sweet, that would be really good. Until you actually look down and realize that that's, like, specifically for, like, Valhalla. It's not for, like, the system.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
Yeah, and the thing that really annoys me even more is I'm saying to myself, well, what about the actual console? Because the console's been very hard to come by. And the way they phrase this is amazing. The term deal might be a stretch, maybe stretching it with the offers below. However, with the PS5 regularly selling for over $1,500 on eBay and Gumtree, these offers are the best you are likely to find. It's like, well, there's a way to look at it. So when they're talking about deals, they're talking about like $900 packages for the PlayStation 5. Now, for the uninitiated, I must explain to you, the retail value on a PlayStation 5, the one that actually, like the bigger one that actually has the CD slot and everything, is like $500. That's the MSRP. So when they're telling you that there's a deal for $900, no, it is not. Sorry. This one, though, I love this. Alex, Walmart, deal of the day. Get an arcade cabinet for just $400 this Black Friday. So, the Simpsons arcade cabinet is going to be at Walmart. Normally for like $700, but only $400.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I've seen those. They're not usually like full-size arcade cabinets.
They look a little small.
They're smaller. They're like mini cabinets. They're maybe like
Yeah.
I can't really do a size measurement, but they're smaller than my bookcase.
Yeah.
And you generally have to put them together.
Yes. Yeah. These are
So they're made
built
of, like,
for homes. Yeah.
I don't know what they're made of, but it's probably like particle board about like an inch thick, maybe half an inch thick. And it's just got like the emulator basically in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I always thought, like, if I had space and money and time and interest, I would have actually put together I would have wanted to put a game like a Rec Room together that was arcadey and try to find old arcade cabinets that I'd be able to reuse and put together to make my own little arcade. But not necessarily the ones that they do for retail, which is a completely different thing altogether.
I mean, if you're going to go down that route anyways, you might as well make one arcade cabinet that has like a terabyte SSD in there.
Yeah.
That has emulators that you can choose through like 600 games.
Exactly. Yeah.
That way you can just be like, yes, one cabinet to house them all.
Right. The only reason why you'd want to have something like this that's like the modern era one would be if I could do an emulator. Otherwise, I'd want to just get the old classic cabinets because they're the actual cabinets from the arcade.
You could put Polybius in your arcade rec room.
There you go. Perfect.
There's a deep dive for anyone who wants to look into that.
Not me. So anyway, the Simpsons Arcade 1-Up package includes the matching stool and the tin wall sign and a 17-inch LCD screen. So yeah, this is a modern cabinet. This isn't like an oldie. I don't really know why it was the Simpsons specifically. This is like the old Simpsons, I think, like brawler that you would go along the old classic like Double Dragon, but it's Simpsons. So, hey, if you were ever looking for a cabinet, I guess that's a thing. Good for you. But sadly, though, the truth is that there aren't a ton of, like, tabletop game, like actual board games that you would think of that are going to be on sale. But it does look like there are going to be some early Black Friday sales, mostly on Amazon for things like Gloomhaven and Betrayal on House on the Hill, The Quackening of Quedlinburg, which is a game.
The name, too.
It is a name, yeah. Risk, Warhammer 40,000. You can save $15 on. And
yeah, basically anything made by Hasbro, it seems.
Yes, Hasbro's having a time. Maybe we'll talk about that on a future episode. I love this deal. Warhammer Quest Cursed City is going to be $30 off, which means that it's only $170.
Yeah, okay.
Yay. Good.
Yeah.
Don't have to pay for that. So there are a few deals, and I'm sure that in the digital space, you're going to see a giant list from Steam and the rest of them when it comes out. This is usually the time where a lot of the games, I did mention Valhalla, but a lot of the games that are like didn't sell particularly well will go for like half off if you're lucky, but I don't know how much of that's going to be happening this year.
We'll see.
We'll see. But anyway, any Black Friday deals that you happen to know about or are interested in taking up?
I bought Code Vein. Because it was
excellent.
85% off.
I've played Code Vein.
I know you have. You've talked about it, and I played God Eater 3, which are very similar, so
I don't
figured I'd try Code Vein.
Yeah, I haven't played God Eater. What is God Eater 3 like?
It's kind of like a Monster Hunter, but smaller scale.
Okay.
Which I like.
Yeah. Code Vein takes more cues from, like, Dark Souls.
Yeah.
A few. Not enough that it ruined my fun.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I imagine if the combat is anything like God Eater, then it's a lot more fast-paced. Because it says a hack and slash.
It's not nearly as regimented, the combat, as a Dark Souls. The framework of the levels is going to remind you of a Souls-like. But the
hopefully better traversal.
Slightly better traversal. until you get to the Citadel. When you start to see a giant flying city of pure white in the sky, be prepared. It's a maze. It's a maze. But yeah, fast travel, a big thing. A central hub where you get to talk to characters, and being able to trade out jobs and stuff. I like that about Code Vein. So, yeah, not a bad entry in terms of that genre. And also, the combat is a lot faster. You actually feel like an anime character going around.
Well, you are an anime character, so...
You are an anime character. It's not like the tank controls of the classic Dark Souls, but...
Yep.
So, you tell me, though, check back with me when you try it out and see if you enjoyed it, or what you thought about it. Because I'll share my thoughts on it, too. But, if anyone is out there and has recommendations for Black Friday sales when you see this video, or you hear this podcast, please let us know. Because tis the season.
Gotta get everybody gifts, including ourselves.
You gotta get, I find that, Black Friday is the day where I get myself gifts. I've usually already done most of my shopping for other people when I see things that I want that have already gone on sale. So, and with early Black Friday...
I'm not allowed to get myself gifts through the season because my birthday's in December, so...
Fair enough. Got it. But, with the advent of, early Black Friday, it's not really as big a deal to just do stuff on Friday, because they're already telling me about early Black Friday sales, so...
I'll be at the store Friday morning anyways, so...
How early do you have to go in on that day?
I don't know. I work Wednesday night. No, I work Thursday night, sorry. I have Wednesday off, because that's my... Thanksgiving off, essentially.
Yes.
And I work Thursday night at my normal 10 to 7.
Got it. Excellent. So you will be stocked and ready to go.
I'll be full of ham.
Is the store going to be open while you're there?
They'll probably open at I don't know. They haven't really said much about it that I've heard. I assume they're either going to open at midnight or 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know if they've decided to keep doing that after the trampling incidences.
No, it's been a lot better over the last few years. They've done deals throughout the entire month instead. So they'll do weekly deals and then a big thing on Friday. But the last time we were there and we basically had to stand around to help customers if anyone needed help. Right. And boy, we were just bored for the last 2 hours of work.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing retail, and we actually opened at 6, and we when we normally open at 9, and that last year or two that I was there, so 2017, 2016, something like that, we open at 6. We have these doorbuster deals. Everybody's super excited, and 3 people walked in the store at 6, and I had all the registers open. And we're just sitting there, twiddling our thumbs, boy, this isn't really exactly what it used to be. Now that they do deals all the time and people aren't, interested in going out at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is probably good. You don't hear about as many tramplings now. So.
Yeah, thank goodness. Tickle Me Elmo isn't killing people anymore.
I want to tell you about a game you didn't think that I'd play.
Oh, no.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Kool-Aid Man's back. Yeehaw. So, there's a game that a lot of people have been talking about recently. DC has actually been streaming it quite a bit. But it's called Vampire Survivors.
I would love to survive a vampire attack.
Yes! Wouldn't everybody? This actually comes on a wave of a lot of vampire-related games that have somehow come out in the last, 6 months or something. There was V Rising was a big one everyone was talking about, Immortal Realms Vampire Wars, and everyone's still talking about maybe at some point Bloodlines 2 will come out. We don't know.
Someday.
But the most unlikely of subjects to be a kind of runaway hit was Vampire Survivors. And I thought to myself, well, I'll try it. It doesn't really look like my kind of game, but I'll give it a shot and see what it's like. I'm almost angry by how the simplicity of the game makes it endlessly addictive.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the uninitiated, I don't know if you're very familiar with the game itself, but...
Seen it, I haven't played it, I have no interest in it. I'm not a fan of bullet hell games.
Yeah,
typically.
And that's the thing. I'm not either. I don't really care that much about bullet hell games. Here's the thing that's really surprising about it. When it starts, you have one character unlocked, and they have the one level unlocked. Makes sense. You go into that first stage with this one character, and they say he's equipped with a whip. Great, okay, so I have a whip. And you go in...
Belmont, got it.
Yeah, exactly. They're like the first 4 characters, the first that you can unlock and the others that you can unlock, those are all like the same same family. So I'm guessing it's supposed to be I think it even starts with a B. So it's like the Belmont analog.
Yeah.
So anyway, you get in there and you're like, okay, I know how fighting games work. And I go to use my whip on the first bat that shows up. And I'm realizing, wait a second, I'm trying to push buttons. What button actually makes my weapon go? I don't know. I'm moving around, but I can't actually do the thing. So it turns out, none of that is under your control. All you do is the movement part through the landscape. You do not control when your whip happens. Your whip is automatically going at a regular interval. And it goes in the direction that you happen to be facing. And then when you start upgrading it, it can go in 2 different directions and stuff like that. But you don't actually control the frequency of it. And as you start to gain other weaponry, they are also outside of your control. And they have certain, behaviors that they use to, go around in circles or bounce off of walls or whatever it is. But you don't control that, for the most part. All you really do, the main thing you have in your control at any given time, is moving. That's it. Just moving around. Yeah. And at first I saw that and I thought to myself, well, this seems incredibly boring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just moving in these different directions. That's all I do. I don't have any other controls over it. Well, again, 15, 20 hours later, I was wrong, because what they do is they start out at this deceptively simple idea of you just trying to survive as long as you possibly can, as these waves of, tougher and tougher creatures start coming at you, accruing levels and getting different kinds of power-ups and, finding different combinations. Oh yeah, then they start talking about different combinations of things that actually lead to bigger and better weaponry. And then you get to collect gold, and you can use that gold outside of your run to increase different stats, or unlock different characters, or unlock different abilities, or anything like that. And then you start going, ooh, cool, and this one works really well with this build, and that allows me to get ahead of the curve so that I can then just eliminate a whole bunch of guys that are coming at me, because I found out that garlic is amazing. Of course, garlic's the best thing in the game. If I actually build correctly and I get the right kinds of upgrades and the right kind of weapon combos, I can just plow through all of the giant golems and knock them back immediately. And isn't that super cool? And oh, can I make it to the 30-minute mark? And oh, there's this question mark on the map that just unlocked. What's at the question mark? Oh, it's a secret coffin. Oh, I can get into the coffin. Oh, there's a boss coming at me. Can I get rid of the demon the Reaper that just showed up at the 30-minute mark? Can I defeat him? And then the best part is when you run away from the bad guy on one of the secret stages, all of a sudden the screen just turns in on itself, and I end up in this corridor that leads to a secret yellow safety cone that I unlocked at the end, and a little digitized hand coming up and giving me a slow clap for finding a secret in the game. And you're just sitting there the entire time kind of going, how did I spend all of this time playing this game where literally the main mechanic is literally just walking around a map. It's terrifying.
Can we classify this as a walking simulator?
It's a walking simulator with a lot of death involved. Like, there's so many bodies that pile up. In addition to that, there are all of these unlockables and goals that happen where different characters, if you get them to certain levels, or you let them survive for so long in different phases, or you defeat bosses in those, you unlock something else. And then look at all the unlocks you got in this run. You got like 9 unlocks. You got 3 different characters. You got the hyper mode that you unlocked in this level. And look, 3 new combinations were unveiled to you. And isn't that cool? New types of weapons, new types of upgrades that you can get. Oh, you unlocked the merchant. Now there's a merchant at the beginning of the game. You might be able to permanently upgrade your stats or something like that. Isn't that neat? Here's a new stage. It's different than the last one. You walk in a corridor up and down, or left and right, or you go to a milk factory. That's right, there's a freaking milk factory in this game. And with, like, fish people that come at you, like the creatures from the Black Lagoon. How'd they get there? I don't know. And before you know it, after they keep giving you all of these other little incentives, like one after the next, you look at the time clock and you kind of go, I've been playing this for 5 hours straight now. Mm-hmm. How'd that happen?
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really interesting idea, that the simplicity of the game at the start, that's so simple to wrap your head around, like literally you can move. That's it. Ends up being the thing that keeps you going forward as new things happen. But the core of that gameplay is still I just move. Like, by the end of the game, and I've, like, unlocked all the levels and stuff, and I think most of the characters and everything, the basic mechanic is you move around the map. That's it. They didn't really change anything about the core dynamics of the game itself.
Yeah.
It is a far cry from a lot of, like, the AAA titles that I've seen that give you this giant tutorial of all of the systems that you have to understand at the beginning that I usually don't play very much. There was a recent one that I tried called Thymeria, which is a Souls-like title where you're like a plague doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And inside the first, like, 30 minutes... they have to explain to you, here's your dodging action, here's how you parry, here's how you do a perfect dodge and an attack, here's your stamina meter, here's your life meter, your special meters, and all of that. Here's, they go through this long list of, like, everything that you need to do with these tutorial sections. And frankly, I just kind of got a little bewildered up at the front. Vampire Survivors doesn't have that problem.
No.
It's almost so rudimentary that they literally don't even give you a tutorial. They literally they set you down and it's like, you figure it out. And once you figure it out, you're like, oh, this is easy to understand. I don't even have to attack.
You could just stand still.
The fun thing is that you start to make little challenges for yourself. There's a character called Poe, who's like the old man with the cane, and he's like my main, because he has garlic at the very beginning. And so garlic, for people that don't know, is this, like, radiation, like, around you that will damage creatures as they come close to you. And then as you increase it, it will expand in damage and in radius. And you can use some upgrades to even expand it more. So anything that gets inside of it just starts to instantly start taking damage. One of the best ways to deal with, creatures coming from all parts of the screen. And so one of the fun things I found is, I'm wondering how long I can stand in this one spot before they actually start to do damage to me. And, if you get the right upgrades, you can stand there for a good long time and just let them keep coming up and getting hit by the garlic sphere that's around you. So that's always fun. Again, it's like one of those things where you almost make the fun yourself as you start to understand the very simplicity of the systems. And I really liked it. I thought to myself, wow, I kind of wish that games would take more of this approach up at the front of just giving people a very, very limited number of things to do before expanding upon it. And just try to go with your one central idea, one mechanic, and there's nothing more rudimentary than moving. And so by taking that as your main mechanic and your only real mechanic, and then just expanding upon that with the strategy elements and randomized elements that comes with like the roguelike kind of nature of it, it becomes endlessly replayable. And it becomes endlessly interesting to find out what the next thing is that you can do. So I was really impressed by it. I was surprised by it because, again, when I saw Bullet Hell, I normally think about like twin stick shooters.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. Or a lot of the Bullet Hell ones where I have to avoid every little bullet that's coming at me. And there's not a lot of that in this. Not a lot of shooty enemies that come at you. It's mostly just a lot of dudes that are like shambling up to you and trying to knock through your defenses. So I thought it was a really interesting idea. I thought it was a really interesting concept. The pixel graphics would probably turn you away a little bit.
Meh.
But
it's more okay with games like that.
Yeah, because it feels a little old school anyway. Yeah. And yeah, there's definitely some meta elements to it. Like I said, the little slow clappy hand that comes up, or the world starting to like invert on themselves in some cases. Interesting stuff all around. But yeah, I wanted to just share the idea that the simplicity of that being so incredibly rudimentary ends up being one of its strongest assets.
Yeah.
So.
And there's a lot of course, that hit really big. Now there's 15 bajillion clones of it that you can get as well.
Yeah, I just saw one, I think, on Itch.io that they were like, it's like Vampire Survivors, but it's like hardcore. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I had trouble, like, a lot of times surviving to, like, the 30-minute mark, especially up at the front. It takes a long time for you to, like, figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
And get lucky enough to happen to get the combination to do it. I don't really think I needed an extreme version of it, but that's like everything, you know. As soon as like one idea hits, you see a million clones of it. So it's really not surprising. But good on the development team. I was happy with the product that they gave me, and I'm surprised. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
For the price you paid for it, it sounds like you got well more than your money's worth out of it.
I mean, it was on Game Pass, so yeah, I got even
better.
So technically, I just paid what my Game Pass subscription is to play it for its time period. So, is it the kind of game that you would normally like? Did you know that it's just the movement part when you saw the playthroughs?
Yeah, I've seen it played. I've seen other games that are very similar to it, clones of it played as well. It's not really something I probably would pick up, like, with a thought process to want to play it, but, like, I'd probably enjoy it when I did play it.
The fact is that Vampire Survivors, being so very limited in the mechanics up at the front, means that, one, I never find any bugs. Like, there's no glitches or bugs in it because it's so very rudimentary. And right out of the gate, you enjoy the gameplay. And so I'm very impressed with that. I'd like to see more games like it, but not clones of it. I don't really think that I want to just play more games that are just that, but like in space or some shit, like, you know. But yeah, no, Vampire Survivors, surprisingly good, even though it's not really the kind of game that I normally play. No. If any of you out there have happened to play it or know of another game that was unusual for you to enjoy, please let us know in the comments down below.
Yes.
So since we're in the Thanksgiving-y mood, I thought that I would stuff myself full of my Steam wish list.
That sounds like something you don't want to stuff yourself with, but we'll go with it.
Anyway, so I was thinking that since we are at the point where we're probably going to be looking at game deals, like we mentioned a little earlier, it would be a good time to revisit our Steam wish lists and look at the 5 most recent entries to see why they are there. Alex, did you want to start us off?
Sure. I'll start off with my first DLC content item that's coming out the 28th. Which, again, same day as WoW Dragonflight for any of you that play WoW. I don't think many of our listeners do, but, good day to put a DLC for your game out to compete with Activision Blizzard. Great idea. Anyways, it's a new class for Inquisitor Martyr.
Oh.
It is Adeptus Sororitas, which is basically a Sister of Battle type character. So they're adding another female class. This one is closer to the Psyker, I believe. Where they have faith powers and combos with their weapons. It's interesting. I do want it. I probably could play it in their beta right now because I have access to that still. I just haven't. But that's coming out then. I don't know what the price is. I assume it'll be on sale at some point. Probably won't be too expensive, but I do want it.
Excellent. And coming out the same day as Dragonflight? That's perfect.
Yeah.
This is really turning out to be like a February 2023 kind of situation. I think that's the month where everybody's decided to put out all of their big releases. It's February or March.
Okay.
Just stack them on top of each other, guys. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Very good marketing.
100%.
All right. So the first one, I'm going from like my earliest to my most recent. For my 5. I have one on here called Plasma, which actually isn't coming out till Q1 of 2023, but I did want to keep an eye on it. So Plasma is an engineering sandbox. From the description, unleash your creativity with fun and intuitive robotics, physics, and visual programming tools. This looked really interesting to me, and kind of gave me almost a Satisfactory kind of vibe. But more from the actual robotics and programming angle, where you actually build robots and machines and then program them to do stuff, and some rudimentary programming language that goes into it in this landscape that you just kind of get to build and you get to control, and it will be coming to early access. It looked really colorful and fun. And if I do get it, I will probably be just trying to create my own Mars rover, because it looks like that's the kind of thing that you can do. It's just freeform building, hundreds of components. You get to scale and rotate, you paint, you can just customize every aspect of your machinery.
Sure. I'm not creative enough for those games.
Yeah. Well, see, I think that they realized that this might be a little bit too, maybe heavy for a lot of people, so they do tout that it has a user-friendly visual programming tool, so that you can actually say here's the output position, and then I just drag it to what that actually does for a mapper, and then I drag it to what that does. This goes to this, goes to this.
It's like games that are you can build whatever you want. Like for spaceships, for instance, games that let you do that. It's cool, it's going to look like a brick.
It's going to look like a brick. Well, actually, from a structural standpoint, that's probably
bricks don't matter in space, I know.
Yeah. There's a reason why most of the time the successful kind of space capsules that they have are basically a tin can, because it's not very it's less to go wrong. you make it as rudimentary as you possibly can. That's why those Soyuz capsules ended up being used for so long, because they're so rudimentary, nothing can go wrong on them.
Yeah, it's why we retired. I mean, things still go wrong, but it's why we retired the space shuttle, is because you don't really need a reusable thing like this. One, you can have a rocket that costs millions cheaper.
Oh yeah, a whole lot, and lighter and less components and everything, and makes it much easier to get where you need to go. So yeah. But anyway, Plasma. It kind of looks a little bit like Satisfactory, but less about the factory part and a little bit more about the building cute robots that do stuff. So, looking forward to that. What's your next one?
Second DLC. I'm sure this will surprise nobody, but The Hunter, Call of the Wild.
Oh boy.
I'm not sure when it's coming out, but they are releasing one. Get this, Nathan. They're releasing one called New England Mountains.
Oh my god, no.
It's a map based on New Hampshire and Western Maine.
Oh god. Oh, I might have to get that.
So it includes white-tailed deer, black bear, moose, which have been redesigned, and they now have great ones available for that. So there's 3 great ones on the map. It's got raccoons. I think it's got gray fox, maybe. Apparently those are native to New Hampshire, but they're further south.
Oh, okay.
As well. I wasn't sure. I've never seen one.
Yeah. Do they have red fox? Because
I think red fox too. Turkey. A couple ducks and geese probably.
Ducks? Yeah, probably geese.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, this is my backyard. I gotta get this.
Yeah, you gotta get that one. Yeah.
I'm hoping there's a view of Mount Washington in it because that would just make sense. It not specifically anywhere in New Hampshire that I'm aware of. I haven't figured that out yet. But it's based on the Appalachian Mountains in New Hampshire and Maine.
Got it.
So
very cool. That was actually like one of the big things I was hoping for when I originally got Hunter Call of the Wild. It's like, why don't they have one up here? This is perfect territory for this game.
Yeah, so they're coming out with that, and I'm like, ooh, this is exciting. I can hunt in my backyard.
Yep, absolutely. All right, looking forward to that. If it's anything like the other ones, it's probably going to be 10 or 15, or maybe 7 or...
It'll probably be like $7 to $12, my guess.
Something like that.
We'll see. It's worth keeping an eye on, and with how much Crave and I play the Hunter together, it'll be fun.
Yeah, it certainly will. Okay, so the next one I have is a little odd, but that's also how I am. But it's a game called I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. So, from the description, spend your teenage years on an alien planet in this narrative RPG with card-based battles. Explore, grow up, and fall in love. The choices you make and skills you master over 10 years will determine the course of your life and the survival of your colony. So, the look and feel of it has almost like a cartoonish element to it in terms of the way that it's designed. And there are indeed like randomized like card-based elements to it and dialogue trees that you get into people with scenes as you basically just try to, live, laugh, and love on an alien colony, and you also you get to actually move around a map and engage in challenges and stuff like that. It actually came out this year in August, and they're still doing some patchwork on it right now. But you get basically the choices you make you. You grow up on the first extrasolar space colony. Just growing up, just a regular kid on an alien colony. Good times. Good times. Looks fun. I personally do find card-based systems really interesting.
I don't typically like them for video games. They can be cool, they can be interesting. A lot of times I don't like card battlers, so...
Yeah. I think, though, that when it's introduced as part of the game, and it's not just solely the game, because this also has a lot of, like, narrative and dialogue parts to it, it's a little bit more tolerable. I've tried a few different ones that, like, a Tattered Scroll, I think, was one of them, that just adds it in as, like, the combat system, where it's not such a big deal if there's other stuff around the game.
First actual game on my wish list, currently, I added maybe yesterday because I saw it, is Final Fantasy 13, actually.
Final Fantasy 13?
Yeah, XIII. It is currently only $15 on Steam, and that is not a sale price, that is a market price.
That's the market price, yeah.
So I was like, well, if it's 15, if it goes on sale, I'll get it.
Right.
13, I think. Did you play 13? I think with Lightning and the girls.
Yep. Yep.
What did you think of that?
I'm gonna give you my spicy take.
Okay, I remember that the first 40 hours of it was a linear corridor.
30 hour, it's a corridor. It's the game where they, like, literally, after 30 hours, it really opens up.
And I'm used to that because I've
Sure.
played other Final Fantasies.
Yeah.
10 was similarly a linear storyline up till it opens up. But I'm
so-
okay with that if the story is okay.
So here's the thing. I didn't really engage a lot with the characters so much. Only because, like, when they said, like, yeah, after 30 hours it really opens up, I thought to myself, so basically I'm going through these corridors. Okay, I'm going to try to whip through these corridors so I can get to the open world part. And so the whole time I'm like, I'm just playing this so that I can get to, like, the good part throughout this entire thing. And then when I got to the open part, I'm like, oh, so now I'm just grinding out levels before I go to the end? Oh, why'd I do this? I don't know about this. Like the end experience is that there were a couple characters I kind of liked, and there were a lot of characters that were kind of annoying. Like Lightning and Snow's relationship and their constant, like, bickering between them, I'm like, guys, either get a room or kill each other. I don't know what I don't know, man. To be honest with you, the two games that followed up for the 13, I liked more. I didn't play a lot of Lightning Returns, which was the 13-3, but 13-2, where you got to play her Lightning sister, Sarah, and the other kid, was real cool because it had, like, this time-shifting mechanic where stuff you did in the past just translated to the future, and you could... It started with the idea of being open and going to different places, and kind of had a Pokemon system where you could capture monsters, because you only had the two characters that you really played, so you would round out your team with other monsters that you would level up to. 13, I don't know. For people who are used to the, like, Japanese RPG style, I think they get more out of it.
I'll probably pick it up if it goes on sale. 15 isn't a lot, but, you know, I'd like it for cheaper.
The next one on my list is called Asterigos Curse of the Stars. If that doesn't sound familiar at all, don't feel bad. You're not really supposed to know what that is. Originally, I saw this when I watched an Iron Pineapple video, because he would do these things that became incredibly popular. He did, like, Souls-like games you've never heard of, and he would play a whole bunch of them.
Okay, yeah. I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah. Those that get
I played 30 more Souls-like games you've never heard of.
And they're fun, because he does go into, like, the whole thing and says, like, what he thinks about him, and they only garner him, like, millions of views immediately when he brings them out.
Sounds like Dark Souls or Souls-like are really popular.
They really are, and some of them I have actually played a little bit of, and I saw them and I was like, I don't know if that technically counts as a Souls-like game. But, okay, yeah, I guess it's tagged with it. But, anyway, Asterigos, Curse of the Stars, is embark on a journey full of danger in this action RPG inspired by Greek and Roman mythologies. Explore the breathtaking city of Aphis and forge your way through legions of unique foes and mythical bosses to discover the truth behind the city's curse. So, the unique thing about this is immediately when I saw it, the look and the feel and even the character design, the lead character design, makes her look a lot like Phoenix from Immortals Rise of Phoenix, which was the Ubisoft game that came out that was kind of like their Breath of the Wild take. It's the red hair and, like, the Greek, you know, look, and it's the gods and everything, sword and shield, that whole deal. This looked, however, a little bit more action-focused than any of the Souls-like games, and it has Greek and Roman mythology in it, which is more interesting to me. Also, fun thing about it is that it's a lot brighter than a lot of Souls-like games, because I've played way too many Dark Souls that just like the color gray a lot.
Yeah.
This one doesn't do this. This is actually very bright. The cities are colorful. The sun is out. Sun's out, guns out. There are no actual guns. I'm interested in what it has. You battle more than 60 different enemies, encounter 22 bosses in the main story and side quests. A lot of extra collectibles, New Game Plus, and you get to combine and change weapons on the go, and you can equip 2 different types of weapons at once and become unpredictable in combat. So you get a lot of combination options and customization. So thought that was a really interesting idea, and so I'm looking forward to that. Right now, it's like 35. Deluxe editions would be like 45, 55 for the Ultimate. So, yeah, I get it, but since Souls-likes are kind of hit or miss for me, I'll probably have to wait till it comes down a bit.
My second to last is a game called Against the Storm. I actually saw Patrick Leader tweet about it, and I checked it out, and it sounded interesting. It is a dark fantasy city builder where you must rebuild civilization in the face of apocalyptic rains. As the Queen's Viceroy, lead humans, beavers, lizards, and harpies to reclaim the wilderness and secure a future for civilization's last survivors.
Interesting. So
Yep.
what kind of game is it?
It is, I'll give you the tags. It's a strategy city builder base building game.
Oh, okay.
So it's colony sim management, resource management, sandbox, RTS, all that good stuff.
Okay.
So it's a city builder, city sim. It looks interesting. I haven't looked too deeply in it, but it looks kind of like the type of game I would enjoy for a bit, but also be very picky about.
Sure. Sure.
Because I do enjoy my city builders.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I've played my fair share too, and they are kind of hit or miss for me. But I'm always interested in a unique take on them.
Yeah. It's apparently a city builder meets a roguelite, is what it says on the page.
That's an interesting combination. I wonder, what is it about the roguelike? Oh, do you build the city and then it starts to collapse in on itself and you...
I'll read it, what it says. It says, experience core city builder gameplay enhanced by roguelite replayability. Build new settlements and collect valuable meta progression resources to upgrade the smoldering city. Recurring blight storms pose an inevitable threat to settlements, but they also reshape the world and open new opportunities for growth.
Oh, okay. So it's different every time you play, basically. Okay. So there's a lot of randomized elements. Interesting. Well,
apparently you can build an endless number of cities as well.
Oh, perfect.
So it looks interesting. Again, I haven't looked too deep into it because I tend to not unless they're on sale. Because I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I really need that game right now.
Right. Is it like a turn-based or is it a real-time?
It's RTS.
Okay.
So it's real-time.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, like, I'll even fashion an interest in, like, the classic 4X turn-based stuff.
I don't typically like 4X. That's a bit too grand for me.
Okay, like the Civ stuff. You're not...
Civ is probably the most 4X I'll go.
Okay. Fair enough. For anyone who does not know what 4X is... if I remember correctly, it's explore, exploit, expand, and exterminate.
Thank you. I could not remember the 4th X.
Yes. So,
yeah, there's a lot of 4X games that are just meh. I mean, I think like Crusader Kings 3 is technically a 4X kind of game.
I guess so, yeah.
And so is like Mount and Blade Bannerlord.
Sure. Sure.
But those ones are a little different too.
So, my second to last, and this is one that I might just end up getting even if it's not on sale. I don't care. Bear and Breakfast.
I've seen this one. It looks interesting. I know Crave has thought it looked cute as hell.
Bear and Breakfast just looks amazing. So the concept is simple. Tagline: Bear and Breakfast is a laid-back management adventure game where you build and run a bear and breakfast, but you're a bear. That like right there. I don't know how you get any any more Good stuff. Any more win in a, in a phrase. Yeah, so the art style is really great. I love this art style. It looks kind of cartoonish. It's got those heavy, like, black lines that really go along with like that cartoonish kind of art style. You get to be a bear. You have your little hat on. You're building your little bed and breakfast in the woods. You manage it. And you have, like, these wacky characters that show up. Yeah, this looks great. Fun characters that you get to play around with. As your business expands, so do the mysteries of the forest, and Hank, so your bear, soon finds himself uncovering a plot deeper than the wilderness itself. So yeah, you get to personalize your inn with guest rooms. You build out those rooms. They can be individually customized. You complete quests and storylines. Yeah, I mean, it's $20 regular price. I might just buy it. Like, I don't even care. I'll see if it goes on sale, fine. But I might just buy it. It's probably what I'd play on stream.
So the last one, I'm actually going to diverge from our wish list slightly because this game is not on Steam and it will not go on sale.
Oh.
It is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Oh.
I have seen a little bit. I know DC, our good friend, was playing it on stream the other day a bit. But new Pokemon games always interesting, and I know this one takes a lot more from the vibes of Arceus.
Yes.
As well, which is more open world and interesting in that way. So I'm like, all right, if this is what the new Pokemon games are going to be like, I'm curious and I would like to get it and play it. Because we've got a Switch, and I can play it on the nice big 70-inch TV downstairs we have in the living room now.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Absolutely.
But I was like, it's not going to go on sale, but maybe I'll ask for it for Christmas.
Yeah, maybe you'll
for my
get
birthday.
It. Yeah, exactly.
Whether a family member or if Crave gets it for me, or if I just get it for myself, it doesn't matter. I'll wait until after the holidays, because then if I get it, I get it. If I don't get it, I'll get it myself.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, new Pokemon games always interesting because I do enjoy them, and I want to see. I know we talked about Arceus before, and where they had taken a bunch of like the stuff that is core to like the mainline games, out and made it a lot more streamlined, which is nice for more casual gaming. But there's stuff in it that I wish they had kept for the more like competitive, not even competitive, just for the like stuff I enjoy doing game. So I'm curious to see what they kept and what they got rid of and what they've done to the formula in this era. So
I'm glad that they're taking more of the position of like the Arceus sort of route, because Sword and Shield was very much like a mixed reaction to the way that they had presented that in so I'm kind of glad Arceus was much better received, I think, in the framework of it. So it's probably smart that they're trying to just learn from that and go forward with a new combination game. It also looked a lot, like, I haven't seen a ton of it, but it looked a lot better than Sword and Shield looked. Like, just from a...
Probably just different art style.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. But always like new Pokemon games. And I'm really happy that we're in the era where they finally have console versions of Pokemon games. It only took them like 25 years. So, last one for the day. My most recent entry on this list. Cat Lateral Damage Remeowstered.
Saw you post about that.
Yeah. The premier first-person destructive house cat simulator is back with a vengeance. Play as a mischievous cat. Swat your human's possessions onto the floor, scratch up curtains, smash precious keepsakes, and show your owner who's boss.
Perfect.
So, apparently in the original Cat Lateral Damage, there was like a timer, and you go around and you had to do as much damage as you could in the time frame, and now they actually have like an energy meter, so there's no time limit on it, essentially. So there is that. And yeah, the general idea is they have like this cel-shaded world where you just get to be a cat. You swipe with your paws. You can get up onto counters and shelves and stuff. You get into like stores and stuff, and you get to just bat stuff off of every single thing. Unroll the toilet paper rolls if you want. There's a catnip rush. That's a special ability.
I feel like this needs to be a VR game.
Yes, it needs a VR. Maybe they made a VR version of it. I don't know if they have yet. But, yes. So this looks like a lot of fun.
This is something you'll play on stream.
This is something that I'd end up playing on stream, and it looks like a terrible idea. It came out in 2021. I think the original game came out in like 2015, but they've done a lot of work on the graphics and the look, and just trying to make the game a little bit more functional. Tearing up curtains looks like a lot of fun. You get to see the little swipes and the little snicked kind of thing come across it. There's new tasks to complete, new pet photos, almost 300 now. Pet photos, revamped cat models, persistent stat boosts, a complete progression redesign. Yeah, this looks stupid, and I love it. And my favorite thing, too, I've been looking at this, I love the fact that they have almost the crash mode sort of thing from Burnout, where they tell you how much actual dollars in damage you've done.
That's great.
I love that. That's great. In case people don't know, like, by the time Burnout 2 or 3 came along, they had this thing called crash mode that you could do, where the idea was that they would give you a car, and you had to crash into an intersection, and there'd be, like, this giant, like, cinematic, almost Michael Bay element to it, where you had to see how many dollars in damage you could do in this intersection as you destroy everything with this one perfectly timed shot.
Because you just try to see how much damage you can inflict.
That was one of the best parts of the game. I love Burnout 3, one of my favorites. I like the idea that they actually tell you how much damage you've done. That's great. The other place where they did this, too, is in Saints Row. Saints Row,
they did.
Because they had the insurance fraud minigame, where you get to ragdoll into the intersection and see how many dollars in medical bills you rack up as cars hit you left and right. Oh,
great.
So there's that. Anyway, yeah, so that was the last one that was on my list.
Honorable mention, Dwarf Fortress comes out early December. As well.
About that, yeah.
Between now and the new year, I'll probably get at least one of these. If I were to pick one that I wanted above all else, it would probably be Pokemon. I can wait for the rest to go on sale. Pokemon doesn't typically go on sale.
Right. Me, Bear and Breakfast, because I'd actually play the hell out of that. I would not be able to stop. I guess my honorable mentions I would put out before I finish is that 3 that I played during the Steam Next preview are on there out of all of the games that I tried. Forever Skies, Earth from Another Sun, and Potionomics are all on my list right now. What is on your most recent 5? If you are listening out there on either your Steam, your GOG, whatever you happen to be using for your system, please let me know. I'd be interested to see what you are looking forward to as we come to the end of 2022. Alright, Alex, I think we are fully stuffed for this episode.
And fully stuffed for this Thanksgiving season.
That's absolutely right. I think it's about time that we start hibernating.
Yes, right up until the fat man comes down our chimney and we need to get a shotgun.
Well, I tell you what, let's reconvene when that happens, and we will stay up late to make sure that Santa doesn't take all of our milk and cookies, because that was our milk and cookies, and he doesn't deserve them. I got very defensive about Santa Claus.
A little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, if folks would want to hear some more hot takes like these, where could they go on the internet, Alex?
You can go find us at TotalPebbleKnockdown.com.
If you want to support us on Patreon, you can get a lot of these features early, as well as full versions of the video podcast, essentially, beforehand, and early releases of things like Titanium Mine when those release. You can also find us on social media. I am at Titanium.
I am at EXP Limited. Our show is over at Pebble Knockdown, and if you use Mastodon, I think it's like Total Pebble Knockdown .party or something. I don't know. I'll find it. Just
interesting. Okay.
Find it somewhere else.
Certainly, yeah. I am also in the process of trying to get an Instagram put together. So when I actually get that up and figure out if there's a way I can actually schedule posts, because boy, they make that tricky, I'll let you know. But yeah, we're in a few different places. You can also find us on every podcast app known to mankind. Please like and subscribe if you happen to be on any of those. We do appreciate it. Helps with our metrics. And until next time, I guess, thank you for joining us on Total Pebble Knockdown, and we will see you next time when hopefully we are not in a coma.
Yeah, and hopefully Tickle Me Elmo hasn't murdered you.
If he has, please stop tickling him.